Hello Snarkatarians, what's up? It's Jess. Good morning. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but there has been a ton of foundations coming out. I don't know if companies are trying to make a foundation push right before the holidays so they can focus more on their gift sets and things for Christmas, but there's a lot of stuff that's come out lately. I certainly can't try them all. I feel like I've been doing like every other video has been a foundation review, but there have been so many new things coming out, high-end, low-end, drugstore, you name it. If I'm going to be doing this channel, I'm not going to be necessarily recommending and trying all kinds of super high-priced foundations. They're going to be, if there's an interesting one that comes out from the drugstore, I will try that. If there's something kind of middle range, like in the 30s or so, I will try that. $30, I will try that. It's got to be something that really interests me if I'm going to pay more than $50 for a foundation, because if I don't like it, I guess I can take it back. But man, it just amazes me how much foundation costs these days. It's a little ridiculous. So if something comes out that piques my interest in the drugstore area, an affordable foundation area, I'm more likely going to gravitate towards that and pass that information along to you. If you're new to this channel, I am 44 years old. I have generally combo to dry skin. It's a little more closer to the combo right now during this time of year in the summer. And it is a hot, humid, sticky, overcast day. I don't really want to have anything to do with it. So it's also going to be kind of a boring ho-hum day. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be editing my August BoxyCharm video, so I can get that out to you. I will link it above here if you want to check that out. So if you have any kind of interest in skincare, in makeup reviews, anything like that, if you have any age skin, but particularly 40 and above, I try to upload once a week, usually on the weekends. At some point, I try 10 o'clock, but that's kind of hit or miss. I also don't know what the hell's going on with my hair today. These bangs are just the bane of my existence. So bear with me on that. In the meantime, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee because it was a late night last night. I made the mistake of watching a Jeffrey Dahmer documentary on Reels until 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Don't do that before you go to bed. That was a little ridiculous. So at like 2 o'clock, I finally fell asleep, and I'm a little tired today. But without any further ado, today we'll be talking about the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Foundation, Radiance Foundation with hyaluronic acid. It is full to medium coverage. It retails for $12 at Ulta. Good news is, if you have one of those $3.50 coupons, you can use it towards this. This is 0.7 fluid ounces, so it's a little less than the average bottle of foundation. We will also be trying the Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Concealer with hyaluronic and acai. This is also medium to full coverage. I have a nice little recipe of concealer going on right now with my Pacifica Liquid Cover Lasting Concealer, Mineral Lasting Concealer. So this is just kind of going to be used like a dot or two to brighten up the under eye, and we'll see how that combination works. Because the combination I have going on right now is really nice. So I will know if there's a change, if it's going to, crease, if it's going to dry out more than what they say it's going to do. All right, so as I said, this is $12. I have this in the shade F7. It's going to be a little light, I think, just because of the tanning situation going on in my face. So according to Ulta's website, like I said, it has hyaluronic acid. It's supposed to offer all day long radiance and glow without settling into fine lines or wrinkles. It sounds great. It always sounds good, but we will see. It is not supposed to settle into fine lines or cling to any dry patches. My skin is pretty moisturized right now. I have my go-to primer. It's the Flower Beauty In Your Prime Hydrating Primer, so that is already on. I'm already moisturized and sunscreened. This has a glass bottle, which is very nice, and it has a pump applicator. The one that came out before the Conceal and Define was a doe foot applicator, and I don't really have any trouble with the doe foot applicator. Some people do, but it is nice that they switched to a pump. I think people appreciate that as well. And it offers medium to full coverage. As far as the concealer goes, it is $10. Did I mention it has 16 shades, both the concealer and the foundation? When foundations are coming out with 50 shades, you know, you got to kind of bump this up a little bit. This is supposed to have a lightweight finish with a boost of moisture, offering all-day hydration thanks to an infusion of hyaluronic acid. Covers blemishes, even skin tones, and counteracts dark circles, which I definitely have this morning, while drenching skin with moisture. Designed for drier skin, the sheer satin finish won't settle into fine lines. That's what I'm a little concerned about. The word satin finish with a moisturizing concealer. So has a doe foot applicator and allows for a smooth, delicate application. So that's what we're going to be dealing with today. As far as the concealer goes, I have the color C6. I do tend to go lighter because my Pacifica concealer is a little on the darker side. And actually, this is 0.45 ounces. This is 0.26 ounces. And so there's quite a bit more of the concealer in this than there is with some of the other ones that have come out lately. So again, without further ado, we will do it like I normally do it. I will use probably the brush on this side, dampened beauty sponge on this side, and we'll check the concealer out. I will wear it throughout the day. It is, it is 10:18 currently. This morning, I got nothing going on. Like I said, I'm going to be editing today, so I will put a couple more things on my face, just a very kind of boring, minimal makeup kind of day. So here we go. We'll give it a pump. It's a little liquidy. That's good. No smell that I can see. I think we're going to do brush on this side. So we're going to go in with my IT Cosmetics brush and kind of stipple that in. It does have some pretty nice coverage. This is supposed to be a neutral tone foundation. This is leaning maybe a tad on the cool side. Not too much, but just a little. Maybe not a little. It's it is light. At first application, it didn't look super light, but now when I kind of look back, yeah. We'll have to bronze this puppy up a little bit. My problem areas are always my chin and in between my eyebrows here on my forehead. If it looks like skin when I'm done applying it, that is usually a good sign. It's not quite merging super well. It's definitely a full, it looks like it's laying on my face like more of a medium to full coverage. It's definitely high-end medium. All right, so let's go into the other side with the sponge, because I got some stuff going on here from what I'm not quite sure. So we'll see how that covers. I have a good feeling that it's going to cover pretty well. I like the finish with, see, there's still a little bit of my blemishes coming through here. So we'll see if we can kind of build that up a little bit. I know it's hard for full coverage makeup to kind of sit and kind of blend right into the skin, melt into the skin. I feel like it is doing that a little bit more with the sponge side than it is with the brush side. I feel like it emphasizes texture a little bit more on the brush side, so I'm just going to pat it in a little bit more with the sponge. It does have a nice sheen to it though, which I do like. It is radiant. It's not super dewy, but it is something I will probably, because of the heat, I will probably powder. The depth of the shade isn't bad, it's just a little cooler, because I still have remnants of my self-tan on. Actually, more than remnants. This stuff's staying on really, really well. Actually feels really soft on my skin. It feels slightly tacky, but not too terrible. I'm just going to take the rest of the foundation here on my makeup sponge. I like the luminosity of it. I think it looks really pretty. On first quick glance, I would say that I like this for a fuller coverage foundation. I don't like full coverage foundation. I don't need full coverage foundation. But that being said, it's not too bad. It doesn't look super cakey, even though it does look more of a full coverage than what I'm used to, but it doesn't look like it's caking up badly. I don't really have any dry patches right now. It does look a little cakey on my chin. Like I said, that's usually one of my problem areas. That's where it's going to look cakey the most if it does. All right. I'm not hating it. We'll move on to concealer. Concealer is always a problem for me. I have a ton of fine lines and wrinkles. It's going to crease. That's just the way things go. Just the way it is. When you get to this age, you got lines, you got creases, you got crevices. It's no big deal. But what I've been using lately to conceal is the Pacifica Liquid Cover Natural Minerals Liquid Cover Full Coverage Lasting Foundation in 18WL. And I've been using the Revolution Pro Brightening and Tightening. While I hate the brush tip on that, and it really is not good as far as getting the right amount of product on there. I can get enough on there. It's lightweight, it is brightening, and it mixes really well with this. So I'll put this on first. I don't use a lot. It's just two little dots here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. It's got that big doe foot applicator, much like the Tarte Shape Tape. I got to think about that because usually it ends up coming out sharp tape. I don't want anybody to work on a patent for that. All right, so I'm just going to apply a dot here and here, kind of in between, to help brighten up that dark circle from the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary. Ooh, that's fun. Okay. So I'm going to go in with my Eco Tools 360 brush and kind of pat away with my finger first, and then go in with the brush and kind of press it in to my under eye. Yeah, you don't need a lot. You do not need a lot of that. I probably could have gotten away with just one. Right? Oh, no. Oh, no. Right off the bat, I'm telling you, it is not. It is definitely not a radiant or illuminating under eye primer. As I said, that it didn't claim to be by any stretch of the imagination. It did say it was satin finish, but I can see those lines right off the bat. And so far there are a few reviews on Ulta. I did look at them. The reviews for the foundation were spectacular. So far, the reviews for the concealer, not so much. And I would probably, at this point, upon very first application, concur. What? Why? It is definitely a drier concealer. Yeah, I wouldn't call this a hydrating concealer. It doesn't feel dry necessarily, but it looks drier than they're wanting. So I got a big old bag. Ooh, I got a big old bag right over here that it's definitely feels like is emphasized. Well, the bags are on point today. So far, I agree with what I've been hearing about the reviews. I am liking the foundation. I don't even have any powder on, and I feel like there is definitely some blurring of the pores here. So foundation is looking pretty nice for a full coverage foundation. It seems to be melting in the skin a little bit more than what I'm used to with full coverage foundations. There is some creasing on the forehead. That kind of sucks. Yeah, there's definite creasing in my lines on my forehead. We'll see how the day progresses. I do not like the concealer. I don't like it at all. I had hopes. But I'm going to go put on a little bit more makeup and show you what it looks like in natural light, and then I'll do a couple check-ins throughout the day and see how it goes from there. See you in a little bit. So here we are in natural lighting. I put the rest of my makeup on. Again, it's going to be a minimalistic makeup kind of day. I did notice before I said that there was creasing in the forehead. I patted that out. I put some powder on, and that seemed to have disappeared for the most part. I think the finish right now is really pretty. I mean, definitely from far away, it looks really flawless, actually. There's a nice radiance to it. I like the way it looks. The concealer, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that yet. Right now, I'm not thrilled with it. It looks a little better. Again, I actually put some powder on it, which is not something I normally do. But I did put a little bit of powder on underneath. I do got those bags. Definitely have bags today. But so far, I think it looks really nice. The foundation anyway. So I will keep you updated in a few hours and let you know how it's wearing throughout the day. See you then. Alright, so I am back with a little bit of a check-in. It's a little after 4 o'clock, which means this has been on for approximately 6 hours. Makeup revolution. I just don't know. From a distance, it looks nice. I, check in the mirror and, regular lighting. This is I haven't checked in with natural lighting lately, but from a distance, it looks pretty nice. It creased in my forehead, which I kind of fixed. I tapped it out with my sponge, and then I put some powder on, but it's also creasing in here, and then I found a little something going on in here. Kind of like the Juvia's Place. Not quite as bad as the Juvia's Place, but kind of close to it. So it definitely still seems like a satin finish, a natural satin finish, which I do like. I would actually be interested to see what this looks like when it gets drier, when my skin gets drier, because in the summertime it just gets a little on the oily side. It feels kind of wet, tacky. It never really felt like it's dried down at all. I don't know if that has anything to do with the powder combination with this foundation. But I'm not too thrilled about it. Again, from far away, it looks pretty good. Close up, no. The concealer actually has gotten a little better as I've been wearing it. Of course, it creases. I didn't expect for it not to crease, quite honestly. I can certainly see some dark circles. I don't think it's gotten rid of the dark circles. I don't think this is something that I definitely want to use on its own. I do want to continue using it as a brightening concealer with something else. So that's where it stands right now. Hopefully it won't get much worse. Like my hair. So I'll check in again at the end of the night and let you know my final thoughts on this. See you soon. Okay guys, so this is my final check-in for the night. And a strange thing has happened, I noticed. As the day went on, I did get a couple like cakey patches here and here, which is what normally happens with most foundations that I try for the most part. I have definitely gotten almost oily, I would say, up here, and it feels like it's kind of it never really set down totally. That being said, it still looked pretty good throughout the day, and the creasing stopped. I kind of buffed things out on my forehead. I did have some creasing over here, I forget which side, and I think it was in this crease here. And it kind of stopped. It went away. I think because my natural oils came through, so it made it a lot more dewy, perhaps, to the point of almost being oily. But I think with powder, I could probably fix that a little bit. I don't think this is unsalvageable. I think this would work for anybody that has really dry skin. I don't think it would work with for anybody that had oily skin, especially if you have texture. I think it works really well. It is high medium to full coverage, definitely. I am interested, like I said before, I am really interested to see what this would look like during the drier months when my skin is drier, like in the fall and the winter. I'm going to continue to play with this. Maybe try some different primers. I don't hate it. I kind of did initially. I wasn't really super thrilled with it, but I don't hate it at this point. It has gotten a little bit better, but it does need a little bit powder throughout the day, and we'll see. So the creasing even kind of stopped with the concealer, but it's not my favorite. It's definitely a lot drier than what I think it should be if it's going to be called a Conceal and Hydrate concealer. Maybe rename it, but it is not my favorite. I might use one dot instead of 2 dots and see if that helps at all. It will definitely brighten, but it does end up being a little drier looking and cakey than I would personally like. So that's where we are right now. Hope you had a good day, and we'll see you soon. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. You got some information out of it, or if you were on the fence about getting this foundation, maybe my information and review kind of help you decide which way to go either way. I try to upload once a week, usually on the weekends. Follow me on Instagram at Pesky Snarkatarian. And if you like this kind of video, give it a thumbs up. Also, please let me know if there is something that you want me to review. If there's, like I said, there's 1,000 foundations that have come out recently. If there's something that piques your interest, let me know down below. Also, I will leave I will list everything that I put on my face other than the foundation and concealer in the description box below. And do your best, my friends, to always stay as snarky as possible, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!